All right, guys, welcome back in. I'm Jake Ellenbogen. Joining me is our resident Arizona Cardinals specialist, AZ sports fan, also known as Mike, also known as my buddy over on NFC West Roundtable. So you could say that we do have half of the NFC West Roundtable
We do.
on the JE channel today.
We do. We absolutely do. I'm excited about, obviously you having me on, man. I appreciate this. Is going to be a good matchup. And especially we got two teams with their backs against the wall. So it's going to be a good game.
This is true. And, both teams, obviously, we know like Seattle got the win. They got to play the Broncos, though. And that was one of the worst performances I've seen from a rookie quarterback. I did say that would be the case on the NFC West Roundtable, to be fair. But both of these teams are coming off essentially, I would say heartbreakers, but I would say both are coming off inspiring heartbreakers. That's what I would say.
Yeah, that's fair.
So we're going to get into it. Before we do, be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. Check out my guy, AZ Sports Fan. His channel is going to be linked below. Does a great job. And of course, you can follow us both. We're going to be on NFC West Roundtable at 9 p.m. So you'll probably be able to catch this before you go over 9 p.m. Eastern time. I should just get used to Western time at this point. 6 p.m. Pacific time, Rams time, Cardinals time. So, all right, Mike, let me just ask you, how are you feeling going into this game about Kyler Murray? Because in the first half, I think a lot of people were like, wow, Kyler Murray looks good against the Bills. And then it was like they kind of went away from Kyler Murray. And I wasn't really sure why. But where are you on Kyler Murray after seeing just one game from him in 2024?
That's a good question because I don't know if you're paying attention a lot to Arizona Cardinal news or anything like that, but there's a fan base right now that's split, divided. And it's crazy because it's one game. But I found that a lot of those guys that have already kind of come up, they've been the guys that have been in the bushes. They're just waiting for an opportunity to jump up. Now, me specifically, obviously, I still believe that we're better with Kyler Murray than we're not. And it's just game one. And we did see a good sample size in the first half of that game. I mean, there's not really much I can say other than fix what happened and let's see what happens for the rest of the year. I mean, I'm still, I probably wouldn't say like as high on him as other fans might be. I'm okay with him. Like I'm actually good. I think he's a really good, solid quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. Do I think he's going to give us 400 yards, 3-4 touchdowns on multiple games? No, I don't. But like, I think he's definitely a serviceable quarterback that can get us a lot of wins. As long as our defense can get the job done, and that's a whole different topic on its own. But honestly, I'm good with Kyler Murray right now. I just want to see a bigger sample size before I completely give you my spiel on him.
Oh, I hear you. I mean, I thought there were a lot of good things to take away from him in the first half. And I thought it was a tale of two halves. And I think that's ultimately a big reason why the Arizona Cardinals lost that game in a game that they probably should have won. He did miss your number one overall pick, whose name is totally escaping me right now, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yep.
He totally missed him wide open, threw to Gregory Dortch, maybe shouldn't have thrown into double coverage like that towards the end of the game. But I did catch most of that game. I thought Kyler Murray, he's playing football again. He's playing actual quarterback. It's not a gimmicky offense.
Right.
So I did like that. With the run game, okay, because Kyler led the team with 57 yards, and you have to be able to run against the Bills if you're going to beat the Bills, you know. And James Conner, Trey Benson, Amari DeMercado. I joked about it in our group chat. I had no idea DJ Dallas was fast.
Yeah.
Like I had no idea. I watched him in Seattle and he looked like the slowest running back of all time.
Sure.
Now he's in Arizona and he actually wants to run, I guess. But looking at the running back room, what were your thoughts coming away from week one? Is this a James Conner only backfield? Do you think Trey Benson getting some run in this game means that he could take over this backfield? Where are you on the running game?
So for the running game, it's going to be the James Conner show for this year. Now, if anything happens in terms of major injury, I think that we got Trey Benson to be the future for the Arizona Cardinals running game. But I think James Conner, as long as he's healthy, he's going to be the guy that's going to be toting the rock the most. Unless, like I said, unless there's an injury or like he completely makes multiple boneheaded mistakes, which I don't know, a veteran like James Conner, you really don't see that, right? We got a hard runner guy, a hard runner of running back that's usually always on his P's and Q's. So like I really do like him. He's going to be the guy for the Cardinals as long as he's healthy and for this year. But this is a contract year for James Conner, and I just don't see the Cardinals extending him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's tough with running backs.
Yeah,
Full disclosure, I've been a huge James Conner fan since Pitt. His story is amazing. I'm sure you've heard it many times, but I was hoping the Rams would draft him, coming out of that. But he's been a guy that I think can be like a leader in your locker room type guy.
absolutely.
And I think he's really taken up the mantle there, and he's given the Rams fits in the past. I mean, this is somebody you can throw him in. If you're at the goal line, he's punched it in more often than not.
Yeah,
Because I think he's deceptively fast because, people look at him, he runs upright. He's got kind of an old school upright running style. But he moves,
yeah,
he definitely moves. Trey Benson has the same thing. He's a little bit faster, obviously, but it is surprising. The wide receiver room. I know there are a lot of people that would say Marvin Harrison Jr., he's going to be a star, not worried about week one. It is what it is. Greg Dortch, kind of this unsung hero in the wide receiver room. Michael Wilson has all the talent in the world. Okay. He's had so many injuries in college, and we got to see a little bit last year and this year what he can do. There's some other guys there. Pascal, who's, he's been in the league for a little bit, and Chris Moore as well. What do you make of this wide receiver room going into this, this game against the Rams, where, if we're being honest, Amon-Ra St. Brown was completely shut down, 3 catches for 13 yards. And you see, Jameson Williams. So you see, on one hand, disappointment if you're a Cardinals fan, like, wow, they shut down Amon-Ra St. Brown. But on another, you see the explosive nature of Jameson Williams coming back to bite the Rams, and he went over 120 yards. So, how do you see the Cardinals wide receivers going in this game?
Yeah, I mean that's a fascinating question. I mean, I wish we had a bigger sample size in this last game to kind of really kind of come out here and say it with my chest. But like the wide receivers were not doing anything this last game, and I don't really know exactly why. I think the game plan was run the ball, run the ball, have a short game, and take some chunk plays every once in a while. I don't know if the wind played a factor, but like Marvin Harrison Jr. had 1 catch, 4 yards, and Michael Wilson had 1 catch, 5 yards with a touchdown. So I wish I can come out here and say that I think they're going to have an explosive game when I truly do not know what this plan is going to be heading into the Rams. But I have all the faith in Michael Wilson. I think he's a solid wide receiver number 2 for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, in order for him to be that number 2, we need to get that standout wide receiver number 1, and we need to have a role cut out for Marvin Harrison Jr. And I kind of felt like, being the fact that the Cardinals didn't play preseason, the Cardinals aren't saying it, and I know, but I honestly, I think they're looking at this last game, and it sucks that it's a preseason game. That's probably what they don't have a lot of time together. That better get fixed real quick here in week 2, especially if we want to have any chance against the Los Angeles Rams. I did notice that Amon-Ra St. Brown was pretty much non-existent in that game, so definitely kudos to what you guys have done over there. But we do need that second wide receiver to emerge, and that is Michael Wilson in my eyes. Now, if you look at the stats, it might seem like Greg Dortch, but like, I love Greg Dortch as much as the next guy, but he's a solid slot guy. We need somebody that's going to be a big bodied, wide receiver that's going to be able to kind of stand up. And I do think that Michael Wilson can be that guy, but you also do need the emergence of Marvin Harrison Jr. So it's kind of like, give and take, right? You need to be able to give that, oh, they're double covering this guy, so this guy can get wide open. I think we've seen a bigger sample size of Trey McBride, obviously last year, and then a little bit of this year. I think I have a little bit more confidence in our in our tight end right now than I do in my wide receivers, to be honest with you. But I'm going to put my faith in Drew Petzing. I hope that it's a big impact. I hope we are learning from last game, and we're going to see a completely 180. I'm hoping. That's all I can hope for at this point.
No, I get that. I totally get that. I was going to bring up Trey McBride. Seeing Sam Laporta didn't really go off against the Rams. I thought they did a nice job covering him. Do you think Trey McBride, did you, watching the game on Sunday night, did you see anything where you think maybe Trey McBride could, take over in this game and really, dissect this defense? I mean, it's a young defense, keep in
Right.
mind. So,
I think if
where are
we
you on him?
Honestly, in terms of pass catchers, I feel like he's probably going to be our best option. And I know Sam Laporta didn't have the best game against the Rams, but I feel like if the Cardinals have any chance, it has to be McBride. Big bodied guy that's going to be able to kind of gash you up the middle. And he's a playmaker. He really is. So obviously, I would love to say and have the confidence with my wide receivers, but just I think that's going to come in time. I know being that we have a franchise quarterback and we're paying him multiple millions of dollars. A lot of people want it to be a fast transition to be you got to have that connection with Marvin Harrison Jr., which, in my mind, I kind of deep down feel the same way, but it is going to take some time. I feel like the guy that needs to emerge quickly and fast needs to be Trey McBride. So the pass catcher that I would love to expose, you guys with, hopefully, fingers crossed, will be Trey McBride, to be honest with you.
No, I get that. I mean, I think I've said on our show, I think he's going to be a top 5 tight end. I mean,
Yeah.
if he's not already, I mean, I think he's incredible talent. His maturation has been fun to watch. And, I think having Ertz around him definitely helped. And now he's just going to continue to grow in his role. And you guys also got somebody that I really liked in the draft, Tip Ryman. A lot of
Ryman.
people don't know who he is, but he can block. That's
Oh,
one
yeah.
thing, and for certain he can block. And, I think he's going to end up being really good in the receiving game when he gets comfortable. I don't know how much we can expect to see him. Did he play it like really at all against the Bills?
He did a lot. It wasn't to the point where it was a big significant. I mean, in the blocking game, yes, but it seemed like in
Oh,
terms
yeah, I
of
meant the receiving game. My bad.
yeah, the receiving game, no, there wasn't really much going on with Tip Ryman. It was the Elijah Higgins and Trey McBride show more than anything.
Gotcha. And
Mhm.
Elisha Higgins, I know nothing about him. What are your thoughts on him?
I mean, I think he's a solid tight end too. It's just I think he gets overshadowed. He gets overshadowed with just the name of Trey McBride. And I mean, he's a good catcher. I mean, he can catch the ball in the backfield, especially if Trey McBride is doubled. I mean, but you hardly see an instance when we have those two, tight ends out there. Or I mean, that's what we were supposed to do. But like we went back to shotgun real quick in the second half, and I feel like that's one of the reasons why we lost. But I think he's a very, very good catching tight end. I really do. But I mean, he's not a big name. I think he's been floated around in a couple different teams. He was with us, I believe, last year as well. I don't know. I wouldn't expect too much from him. Honestly, I think it's going to be more the Trey McBride show for the Cardinals.
I agree with that. And then now looking at the offensive line, Paris Johnson Jr. at left tackle. You got Evan Brown at left guard. Is that?
Yes.
I mean, I'm
Yep.
reading the depth chart here, so
Mhm. Yep.
I did not get a chance to watch the film yet on that.
Mhm.
But Froholt, Hjalti, is that how you say his name?
Yep.
Hjalti Froholt.
Yep.
Will Hernandez at right guard, and then who do you have at right tackle?
Jonah Williams got hurt.
Yeah,
He was solid. He was doing very, very solid. He got hurt. Kelvin Beachum came in to sub in, and there was some struggles, some massive struggles.
yeah. So Kelvin Beachum will start at right tackle, you would assume?
Right now, the last that we've heard from Jonathan Gannon is that they are still doing tests. I've been trying to scrounge the internet to see if there's been any updates pertaining to Jonah Williams. Right now, I'm not seeing any definitive things about him potentially starting. All the fact that they told us was that they're going to go ahead and do a little bit more tests, but they haven't ruled him out yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, basically, for any Rams fan that's watching, what should they know about your offensive line? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses?
I honestly think our with Evan Brown, this is his first year with the Cardinals. Now, we did draft a guard as well, and Isaiah Adams is just unfortunately he got injured. So Evan Brown kind of was a shoe-in for the Cardinals to kind of put in the position, a guy that's going to be able to play the center as well as guard as well. So it worked out. Froholt did a good job for us last year. We ended up extending him back, so we got him for I believe 2 more years. Not including this one, but I think overall we got a pretty solid line. I think when it comes down to like 5-man pressures, really where it kind of exposes the Arizona Cardinals. Now, they have not really been in order for your offensive line to be very, very good, you need to be able to gel with each other as well. This is the first
Absolutely.
game with the Bills, so it's really hard for me to say they're either good or bad. I think for the most part of what we've seen, they were solid until Jonah Williams went down, and I think that's kind of when the pressure started happening for the Cardinals, especially on that side. Is when Greg Russo kind of started eating up the Cardinals' offensive line, and it just kind of was game over because Kyler couldn't really do very much when Jonah Williams went down.
That's a great point. It's funny. So I have a fantasy team. It's like a league I've been doing since 2018, and it's
Mhm.
IDP. And so I
Oh,
just randomly saw. I was like, "Why does Russo have almost 40 points?" I was like,
yeah,
"What?
yeah.
What happened? What
He was
happened?
eating, man. He
That's
was
what
eating.
happened.
Yeah,
That is what happened." Yeah, I missed all of those sacks. I don't know. I tried to watch all the games. Obviously, there's a lot of games going
yeah.
on. Tried the quad box. My favorite is when you have red zone in one of the quad box, and then they do the octo box, so it's like this small, like you
Right, and
can't
you're just
see any. It's like, and he's like, "Oh, it's the octo box." I'm like, that's meant for people who are watching just red zone on their screen. If you
100%.
have all these games, you don't really see it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to dive into that tape because I will watch the Cardinals game in all 22 versus the Bills to get an idea. It's
Yep.
just been hectic. All the injuries, as I'm sure you just pointed out.
Yeah.
Uh, Football season, am I right? As a
Right? Yeah, you
content
guys are
creator.
going through the ringer.
I
My
mean, the
goodness.
Rams just signed 3 offensive linemen. I don't even have time to do a video. I'm just going to do a separate live stream for that. But
Wow.
3 offensive linemen. They're going to be signing somebody else. I can't say, but
Sorry.
yeah. So
Sorry.
there's 4 guys that they're going to sign today, maybe more. Who
Wow.
knows? Yeah,
That's
crazy.
wild. I think I thought I got went through the ringer. Now you guys are going through it. That's nuts.
Yeah, it is wild right now. It definitely is wild in LA. But the Rams still got to take care of business. Does
Yeah.
not matter, as we saw with the Lions. No one's going to feel sorry for you with the injuries. That might give you props because it's a primetime game.
Yeah.
The Cardinals, that wasn't a primetime game. So when they lost Jonah Williams, people don't care. They're just going to say,
Exactly.
but honestly, I think that's why they lost. I think that is the sole reason they lost the game. I think
That's
they
fair.
win the game if Jonah Williams doesn't go down.
That's fair. It is crazy how different the offense was functioning, and I don't know if it was because, like, I think it was multiple different reasons, but that is a big factor. I'm not gonna lie. Like, we almost changed what we were doing when he got off the field. It's almost like we didn't have that 12 personnel. We weren't mauling people. We put him back into shotgun in the second half.
Yeah.
It was game over. Like, we went through that with Cliff Kingsbury. We know that if a defensive coordinator knows how to expose that, Kyler's gonna get pressured, and then I think that's kind of what happened, unfortunately.
No, that's it is a shame. I mean, that is the NFL in a nutshell.
Right.
But looking at the defense, I saw that there were definitely some guys that, made an impact. I mean, first off, you only got 11 pressures on Josh Allen. It's not going to win you anything.
Yeah.
But the good, right? The good was Mac Wilson Sr. looks like a really, really good player.
Yeah.
Zaven Collins. So you have those linebackers kind of in order. Roy Lopez playing well in the trenches there at nose tackle. After that, it wasn't really good. There's some guys that, looking at the targeted passer rating, I mean, Sean Murphy Bunting was probably the best of the corners based on that. Again,
Yeah.
haven't watched the tape yet. So asking you, the expert, what are your thoughts on the 2024 Arizona Cardinals defense? Because I told you how I felt on the NFC West roundtable. I like some of the pieces. I was definitely more complimentary than some others, but my biggest thing is they lack a closer and 11 pressures. If you're not going to pressure Matthew Stafford, even if he has a banged up offensive line, if you can't pressure Matthew Stafford, I mean, you saw him picking the Lions apart when he was getting pressured 48% of
Right.
the time. So
Right.
what is he going to do if you're only getting 11 pressures on him?
That's a good question. As Cardinal fans, we all know that one of the biggest struggles was that edge rushing group that we just could never seem to address fully. I mean, BJ Ojulari unfortunately went down, and I think we were really leaning
That
very
was such a
heavily on
bummer.
him. Yeah, and then Darius Robinson, which he said there was rumors about him potentially playing edge, but mainly that the defensive end more than anything. But I don't know. I don't really know what to make of it, honestly. I think the defensive line is a very weak point. We were getting pressures. The problem was that Josh Allen, Josh Allen, he's just elusive as heck. He's crazy. He's a
Oh, I know.
magician. He's one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen. It was so infuriating to watch him because we were getting back there and literally blink of an eye, he's already running for 20 yards. And I know there's some Bills fans that said they feel the same thing for Kyler, and that's cool, but there's a big difference between a 6'4", 6'5", guy that's going to be able to truck you or kind of shake you off if you have a hand on him compared to Kyler, where you can, put a hand and you can stumble and fall. It's different. Like it's a different beast. What I would think the Cardinals can do is, I mean, we were successful with these blitzes. The problem was that we weren't able to bring them down. And obviously, if you give him enough time, and I've been joking about this all week, if you give him enough time to make a sandwich, this guy's going to cook, right? He's going to be back there and actually dice you up, because that's exactly what Josh Allen did to us. Is we were back there, he escaped, he moved to the left, he found somebody. Our cornerbacks aren't shutdown guys. Sean Murphy Bunting, which is going to be our number one guy, he's not a lockdown guy, right? And we got some young guys with Garrett Williams, which I really like. I really do like Garrett Williams. Max Melton ended up getting hurt, and I believe he's actually in concussion protocol. So, like,
Oh,
our cornerbacks right now are so young. Adding the veteran, which I don't have the biggest high hopes for in terms of being a lockdown guy. So, like, you almost need to make sure that that defensive line is as good as they can. But Josh Allen made us look all sorts of silliness. Like it just it's so silly. So like the amount of pressure that we were back there, if we were able to get them down, then I feel like this game would be different. Problem was we weren't. And I said this, Matthew Stafford is very surgical. He doesn't matter if there's pressure. He will find somebody there if you give him time. Even if there's pressure, he's really good with pressure as well. So I'm really worried about that. I'm not going to lie to you. Completely different quarterbacks in Matthew Stafford and Josh Allen, but you got to give how surgical Matthew Stafford is. And I'm honestly, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm worried about it. I'm really worried.
yeah, no, I get that. I mean, like again, I think the Cardinals have some pieces there that I've always liked. Jalen Thompson.
Yep.
There are guys that you guys have that I do really like as just a football fan. But wrapping this up, going into this game, where are you at on just kind of this whole, going up against the Rams with everything that's going on? It's almost like their added advantage because, in a sense, there's so many pieces moving this week. You don't know who's going out there to play. You don't know who's going to be raised. So you have to prepare for that. But how do you see this game going down, Mike? Because, I mean, I do think the Rams are going to win this game, but I wouldn't be surprised if Arizona plays them tough. I'm going to be honest. I wouldn't.
Yeah, and this is a fascinating game. Like we said earlier, we got two teams backs against the wall. Nobody wants to start off 0-2, right? And I feel like the
Yeah.
Cardinals have a lot to like. I think with all the yuckiness, all the bad that we've seen from this game, there was a lot of good too. There was a lot of good that over gets shadowed because obviously if you don't win, you start looking at the bad and you're like, oh, this is the problem, this is the problem. But there was some good that came along, right? We've said this before. The offense looked really good, and we stood toe to toe with a Josh Allen team that people are saying they're going to the playoffs, and that's a big win. That's definitely a big win.
On
So
the road.
on the road with
Yeah.
wind, we're not used to wind. So like, and the wind is like, you kick it this way, and it's like, so it's like, and I think Kyler Murray sensed that when he threw a dart, I believe to the left side, and it like it like completely like whiffed his ball. So like maybe that was also the game plan. But I see this game shaking out as, no disrespect to your Rams, but I feel like we need to be able to take advantage of your guys's big downfalls, and that's all the injuries that you guys are going through right now. And I see the Cardinals winning. I know. Well, I know we
You
haven't
have to
discussed.
say. You have to say.
I got,
It's
I
understandable. You
got
have
to.
to say it.
I see the Cardinals winning this game. If I give you a score prediction, I don't think there's any chance in heck that the Cardinals are going to be able to shut down Matthew Stafford. He's beaten us multiple times. This Rams team is very, very good, especially if you let Kyron eat.
You love
That's gonna be,
Kyron, don't you?
yeah, it's gonna be a scary thing. But I got to give the win over to my Cardinals here. Just optimistically, hopefulness. I'll say the score is going to be 27-23. Cardinals win, and we're going to get back on track.
Okay. I'm going to say 27-13.
Okay.
The Rams are up 20-13. They get a touchdown to kind of close it out. So not in a way like it was a dominant performance. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think the Rams get that final touchdown at the end to maybe make it look a little bit bigger than it actually was. Reason being, I think the Rams proved a lot against the Lions, down in the dumps, a lot of injuries, no number one corner, no Puka Nacua for the majority of the game. And you got guys like Tyler Johnson that are stepping up in a big way. Demarcus Robinson did it at the end of last year. And I think it sounds to me like Kevin Dotson is going to play, who is a stud at right guard. They have Jonah Jackson, and it sounds potential that Rob Havenstein could play. And if they
Okay.
have 3 of their 5 initial starters, I can live with Bo Limmer and potentially Warren McClendon Jr. at left tackle for this game. And I think, does Kyren Williams go off on the level of last year with a maybe not fully healthy offensive line? Maybe not. But I think Kyren can do enough. I think Stafford can do enough. The track record just in Arizona. If this was at SoFi, I might even pick the Cardinals the way the things are going.
That's
But
fair.
they go to Arizona and they just love it there. And I don't know why, but I like 27-13 and I like your team. I think this is a year they make a lot of progress. They win 7 games. And then I think next year you can start pushing Seattle. You can start pushing the 49ers are paying everyone. So something's going to have to give at some point.
True.
You know,
True.
there is something that has to give because they still haven't paid Purdy. And Dak Prescott's contract just made that go up even more. So keep that in mind.
Absolutely.
But that's all we got for you guys. Mike, appreciate your time. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and Cardinals fans as well, because I'm sure there'll be Cardinals fans that are supporting you. Good fan base. Never had any issue, Cardinals fans. So appreciate you, and be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Check out Mike's channel as well. Link is below in the description, and we'll see you guys soon.
Cool.
Later, folks.
Later.
For those of you who want to support the channel further, you can go ahead and you can actually sign up and become a member on the channel and have access to all different perks. You can see here the join button right below all my videos. You can hit that. You're going to get access. 99 cents a month will get you rookie access. That's going to get you all these loyalty badges and what have you, priority reply to comments. All members will have priority reply to comments. Starter $2.99. That is going to be member shoutouts. Pro Bowl is going to be auto follow back on all social media platforms. You just have to reach out to me and show me that, of course, you are a member for Pro Bowl. All Pro is members only live streams. I will be doing 1 a month for members only. MVP is priority call-ins. It's going to be hard to get everybody in during the season. Obviously, you will have your first crack at basically calling in to the show. And then last but not least, the Hall of Fame, which is $19.99 a month. And that is an exclusive gaming session with me monthly. So if you want to get a little bit more into the action while also helping out the channel, be sure to sign up for one of the memberships today. Do you love talking about the Rams, the NFL, or just want to be a part of a community? Join my free Discord server today. We're over 800 members. We got 24/7 live chat, a level 3 boosted server, the ability to call into JE Live, playing online games with us on Kick streams, toggleable alerts for when I go live on YouTube or Kick so you don't miss a live stream, and exclusive giveaways. Click the link in the description, the comments section, or the link that comes up in the video to learn more and join today.